Bears country. Where is it? It's in your man cave. Your home. Your car. Your local bar. Your city. State. It's across the world. It's in your heart. And it's here. The Bears Country Podcast.
Welcome to the Bears Country Podcast in association with Barroom Network, our podfather. Man, it is Giants week, and I am super excited about this game because although that these games are usually a pain in the ass whenever we play the Giants, it's usually a game that the better team wins, and I think that we're the better team in this case. So I'm excited for this game. We could easily be 3-1 after we beat the Giants. I thought we could easily be 4-0. Of course, we had a hiccup against the Packers, and we're moving on. In my opinion, I've said before, I think that the team is trying to establish a running game to get Justin Fields to kind of ease into the passing game and learn the offense as he goes. It's not easy to learn a brand new offense. I mean, there's so many different plays and so many different formations within the play and different things he can use within the play that there's plays within plays. He has to learn those. Those take time. We've seen that happen recently where he missed a play within a play. He's going to get better. I truly believe that. But listen, everyone, I stumbled across this amazing woman who has her own podcast on YouTube. It's called Let's Talk Chicago Bears. I think that I'm correct on that. I'm sorry if I butchered that. But she is absolutely awesome. We've been talking, and it turns out that she comes from the town next to me where I grew up. She has eaten Italian beefs at the first place that I worked at that I made for her. She is awesome. She's got a great podcast. You guys have to check her out. Her name is Lynn Hayden. So let's bring her on right now. Lynn Hayden, welcome to Bears Country Podcast.
Thank you, Dan. That was quite an introduction, I gotta say. Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. It was a lot of fun making that for you.
You.
We kind of talked, and it's amazing that you basically lived the same amount of time that I did. The town next to me, in
literally
Lake County, Illinois.
I know. What are the chances, right? And now we're both out of there, and we've connected, and it's pretty cool.
But Lynn, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started on the recap of the last game and going into the Giants game.
All right. Well, first, thank you. This is obviously our first time doing this, so this is pretty awesome for me. I live in Vegas now. I left Illinois 5 years ago. I've been a fan since 1975. When they drafted Walter Payton, and I have not stopped since. And I have seen a lot of Bear games. Probably count on these two hands how many I've missed, and it's probably only like 6. And I'm in Vegas now. I'm an old lady. I'm 64, but I can rock it, baby. Okay. And I've got a son, I got a grandson here, so that's why I'm in Vegas. And and I just love the Bears. So it's pretty cool that Dan and I we've hooked up, and then we talked and we found out that we lived a few miles apart for many years in Lake County, Illinois. So I think this might be meant to be. I don't know. We might be the next coming.
I love the enthusiasm and just the the little clip I made for you, the facial expressions, and just like you're so animated, you're so much fun. It's so great to talk to you. I'm glad I offered to reach. It was kind of hard to get in touch with you because I couldn't just put my email out there on
I know it is hard
so
to. Yes, it is.
I'm glad you got back to me and we're able to have you on the show because.
Are you kidding me? You're like, hey, do you want to be on my show? I'm like, hell yeah! You're nuts. More people can see this face.
Exactly, and all your animation.
Yeah, the face that looks like my father, which is just not fair on a woman's body. All right, that's all I'm going to say.
I have a theory that most women, I've been just keeping track of this for a long time. Most women look like their fathers, and most men look like their mothers. I think it's true. I look more like my mother. I think my wife looks more like her father, and so on and so forth. Did we lose you? There you go.
No, you know what? It's probably the internet here. It's Vegas. That's all I can say.
Okay. I was still talking anyway. It's Vegas, baby, right?
Yeah, Vegas, baby. So let's get going. What do you want to talk about today?
Like, what do you think so far overall of the 2-1 team? Let's just start with that.
Well, I got to tell you, going in, I told people, it's going to be a bumpy year. It's going to be up and down. We're going to have good and we're going to have bad. And because this team is just so young, there's very few veterans. There's very few left over from last year. And so it is going to be up and down. And everyone's got to be patient. Everybody, you can't jump on, oh my God, they suck, this and that. It's 3 games. And in my opinion, if I can see improvement every week in some category, I'll be happy, because if we could do that each week for the next, 13 weeks or whatever, and then we can roll into next year and then we can hit the ground running, I'd be thrilled. My only concern, the things that don't surprise me, the offensive line we knew is going to be a problem. The backfield, so young on the defense. My biggest concern, like everybody else's, is the elephant in the room, Justin Fields. But again, this to me is his first year, because I'm not even counting last year, because that idiot Nagy was coaching him. And if anybody watches my show, in 2019, I was onto that guy, and I knew it because he ruined Mitchell. And so now they got to erase all that. So really, everyone's got to slow down, get off his back, and let's see what happens. Although, my last statement, and I'll throw it to you, but I am concerned. I won't lie. I'm a tad concerned. Ohio State does not have the greatest track record with NFL quarterbacks. So when they drafted him last year, I was like happy, but yet concerned. Or 2 years ago, I'm sorry. And so now what's happening here, I'm like, okay, don't go there, Lynn. Don't go there. Calm down. Give this kid some chance, because we're not winning it. We're not winning no Super Bowl this year. So but I am a little concerned. So
their record coming out of the gate.
Go ahead.
No, what was your prediction for their record?
Oh, you know what? I was hoping for 500. I was shooting for 500. Some people said more. Some people said less. The beginning of the season, we have winnable games. We really do. When you look at the schedule, there's some winnable games there, and they should beat them. I've said it on my show. We should beat the people that are our level or less. Mm-hmm. But down the road, if you look at the schedule, it's going to get harder, because we're playing Miami, Buffalo, fucking Green Bay again.
Oh God, I know.
I said the Bills, right? Bills.
Bills.
So there's going to be some tough games. So, but this year already,
Eagles, Cowboys.
Eagles. Yes, look at the Eagles. Who thought that? They're the only undefeated team, I think, right now, right?
I had that as a win to start the season, but they're playing pretty well now. So
they're playing very well. So this year's already been weird. Too many upsets for my liking. But so I was going 500. I would have been thrilled with 500 or even, just a little under.
Well, it can't be 500. So seven. What is it? 9-8
Right.
or 8-9?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's got to be one over because it's 17 games now. Right. Right. They
Yeah, I
wouldn't
know.
screw that
I
up.
forget that all the time too.
I
It's like,
know it is weird. And I have been watching enough Bears football and national football to go from 14 games to 16 games. And now we're at 17 games. That's how old I am.
wow. I'm sure that it was still 14 games in some point in my life, though.
Probably. I think it changed. Well, I don't know. I think it
Was it
changed in the 70s, didn't it?
I was born in 74.
Oh, then it probably, because I think it was the mid to later 670s is when they went to 16 games. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm still part of that category.
You're still part of that category, even though you didn't know anything, but you didn't watch football, but yeah,
Right.
But
85 Bears. 85 Bears got me
what a great
as a
season.
10-year-old.
Oh man, what a good time to catch on to the Bears, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
So I do have some stats from last week's game
Yeah,
here.
let's hear them.
So the passing, obviously, 106 yards. Justin Fields, 8 of 17. Davis Mills he was 20 of 32 for 245. I mean, I know we're all kind of wondering what's going on with the passing game, but I've said this recently that I just think that they're just trying to get the running game established, get their offensive. It helps the offensive line to run the ball more.
Oh, for sure.
The pass protection is a lot more difficult. So if they can get their offensive line in a groove, running the ball, it can help establish the running game. It can help get Justin Fields eased into the passing game. And I'm thinking by, game 5, game 6, I think we'll start to see the passing game start to open up once he has more time in this offense. So,
well, the thing about that, though, do you know that they were saying last week that out of all the quarterbacks, he's had the longest time in the backfield to throw the ball? It doesn't seem like it. Now we're talking seconds, but they have said he's had actually the longest time, which really surprised me. I was like, really? That's pretty interesting. But then when you watch other games, you're like,
are they using the metrics of him like scrambling?
I don't know. I just heard that and was just dumbfounded by it. I was like, see, that just did. I don't know where you're getting this from, people, but I heard that I heard it on the broadcast on the TV, and then I read it, and I was just like, Not the games I'm watching. It don't seem like it, but I don't know what games they're watching, but I don't know. He's and Justin, it could be so many things, but I agree with you. He needs time, and I think part of it is my concern is, and I'm sure yours and everybody else's, is that he took off several times in last week's game where he didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
The pocket seemed to be collapsing, but it was not. And you see people like, all the good quarterbacks stand there and trust their line. And I don't think
he has, into the pocket, right?
Yes, or the pocket. Thank you. I don't think he trusts them at all. I don't think he has any confidence. He seems a little scared to me. That's what
it seems like he's trying to rely on his instincts to get himself out of the pocket to make something creative happen, where he might just need to step up into the pocket.
Yes, exactly. Trust it. Give it a little bit more trust. I mean, we all, again, he's young. We know that. And, and everybody's been saying the line sucks, although I've seen a little improvement each week. Mm-hmm. We know they're good at the run. That's not the problem, and this is a question for you, Dan. They've been alternating Jenkins and Lucas Patrick at guard, right? Mm-hmm. And Lucas is supposed to be the center, but he broke his hand in camp, so he's just coming back from that. But last week they alternated them, and Patrick played more. And this is what the coach said. I don't know if you heard it. He said, Coach Flew said the reason they did that and that Patrick played more at guard than Jenkins, where that's his spot, he said because he played better on Wednesday's practice. Jenkins played better Thursday and Friday, but the coach looks at Wednesday as the key to who is going to be in and who's not. That was what Coach Flew said.
Before I continue, can you I'm getting feedback on your end. Can you turn the volume down on your computer from me?
Oh, let's see.
Just a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think I hear it anymore. That's better. Yeah.
Okay, better. Okay.
Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that they're trying to ease Patrick into the game because he can't use his hand. It's his right hand. He's holding. That's the hand that holds the ball when he's snapping it. So I think they're just trying to ease him into the game at the guard position just to get him game reps because he's missed so much time in
He missed
training
all
camp.
Yeah, he did.
The first 3 games.
Yep.
He's only just recently come back. So I think it's a wise decision to just kind of ease him in, put him in the guard position. He's still smart enough to help with the line calls and stuff like that. So
True.
And it gives him the experience, the game experience to move forward when hopefully this week, I've heard you say it on your show, hopefully this week Patrick comes back and he's the center again.
It would really help.
We keep Jenkins at right guard. And
yep.
I don't know whether or not that was, Eberflus using a line of bullshit there because he seems to be pretty honest and open with and he says what he has to say and he keeps what he has to keep, what he can keep, I should say. And he seems to be handling the media pretty well. So far I'm going to trust on this that might just
that's really what he's doing. Yeah. I mean, he's not like Nagy who said the same damn shit every time. It was the same stuff. Flus, he is trying to be as honest as he can. And I know what you're saying about it. I just would like to see Jenkins get in there and start to get the reps and that's the one thing though, is if we can get Lucas to where he belongs at center, then you can put your best 5 guys out there. And then they can start building a rapport, and maybe in the next couple games, we can start seeing that, and then that'll give Justin more confidence. I'm hoping.
Yeah, because once the offensive line gets gelled, they need that time to get to work together. Once they get that figured out, they're going to get better and better. And the combination that they have, even with Mustafa in there, is working well in the running game. So
it is. It really is.
Put Patrick in there with Jenkins and let that offensive line roll. I think it's good. If we can just get Patrick in this game, starting at center, that'd really help.
That would be huge. So, and I think so. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, what do you think about Justin? You haven't really said much. You said a little bit in the beginning of your intro, but I agree.
Yeah, everyone that's watched me on my channel just knows that we have never had a quarterback with his talent.
No.
Everything that he has is elite. His accuracy, his mobility, his ability to work around the pocket, his elusiveness, I should say, his vision. He's the smartest quarterback to ever take the Wonderlic test coming out of college. So,
yep, he sure is.
All that stuff. I just think that we need to let what we see with our own eyes to be true. Just take a fucking deep breath and let's relax and let the process play out. The running game is what we need right now. Why are we bitching about 281 yards rushing last week? Because the quarterback isn't throwing for 400 yards. We won the game with 281 yards rushing. Let's just be happy with that. Let's let the process play out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And 281 yards is damn good. I mean, we're second in the overall league right now. And I'm digging that because I'm a run person. I do like it a lot, probably because I'm a Bears fan. And let's face it, I mean, we had Walter, and that was back in the 70s. That was the thing about Walter Payton, which was so amazing, is that we had no quarterback. So every team knew we could run, but yet he still got his 100 yards every game. And so I'm more of a run first, but probably because we've never had a quarterback. I mean, here and there we've had years, McMahon for the Super Bowl year, and then he was a China doll and hurt all the time. And
he could have been so good if he just could have stayed healthy. Oh.
I know it's the truth, and he couldn't, and then he had to open his big mouth and start ripping on the McCaskies, which didn't help, and then Cutler. That, I don't know what happened there between his attitude. Although he had a coach every other year, he had a new coach. So, and
when they first got him, they went like 7-1 before he got injured, and then like 7-3 before he got injured. Then they made it to the championship game, and then he got fucking injured. And it's like, what the hell happened? Nobody said he got injured. And...
or nobody nobody to throw to. It's either one or the other with the Bears. They've had,
Mhm.
they get injured or they're not giving them the talent that they need, which
Mhm.
that's the other problem with Justin's. I love Mr. Mooney. Mr. Mooney, I got his jersey on. But he's a second string. He's a second. He needs a number one, and then Mooney can complement the other guy. So the Bears in the draft have to go out and get a nice tall receiver.
Yeah, I did not expect Mooney to have this little production after 3 games.
I had to go back and look on the roster to make sure he was still on the team. I'm like, is he still on the team?
I thought he was going to be Justin Fields' safety blanket.
I know it. I don't know if he's, this is the question then. Is Justin not, getting the ball to these guys when they're open for those 2 or 3 seconds they're open? Or is Mooney not doing any favors for his quarterback? The problem is when you watch it on TV, you can't really see all the stuff that's going on.
Right.
Were they open? So that's the thing. I don't know.
Then you got to start diving into the tape and watching the all 22. And,
yes, my son just turned me on to that this week.
Mhm.
So I'm going to start watching that because I want to see these receivers. I want to see, are they open? And he did miss a wide open one last week.
Sometimes they are. I hate to say it, but
I mean, it's going to happen with any quarterback. Let's face it. I mean, any quarterback's going to have that problem sometimes, but Justin's it's just the youth, and I just hope my fear is I don't want it to get in his head. I don't want him to listen to all the chatter.
See, I've done a lot of research on Justin Fields since they drafted him, and there's a lot of documentaries of him on YouTube from high school into college into the beginning of the pros. And like his dad was making him mow the lawn in the dark after a game because he stayed out too late. So
I'm liking that dad.
So the kid was raised well.
Right. Well, you can tell that. That's one thing you can tell. I
think that he's going to overcome.
I hope so. Because like you said, he is very talented. He's got everything we want. All the intangibles are there.
More than every one of them combined.
Yes.
Into a quarterback we've never had before.
100%. 100%. And, like I said, I've been watching since 75 and I've seen some bad quarterbacks. And this is, and it gets you giddy because you're just like, oh my God, could he be another, Brady, Rodgers, where we could have 10 years? We don't know what that's like. I mean, I wouldn't mind being 10 years older if we're going to have a quarterback. Then I'll live to 74, no problem. If I have a quarterback. But so, I'm
in my late 40s and I'm like, are we ever going to see a fucking quarterback before I die? Like, what the hell?
How do you think I'd feel, my friend? I mean, it's knocking on my door. So, I think we got to get going. And I mentioned this to you before. There's nothing more than I want to see. My son was alive in 2006, but we lost. And I would love nothing more to see a Super Bowl now as him as an adult, because he was a kid. Go to it and see him win. That would be it. I'd be like, okay, my life is complete.
I know. Just me too. Just that's all I want. Just develop a quarterback, please, before I die.
Well, that's it. And as we were talking about the running game, we've got it. Although Montgomery's hurt, which was, oh my God, I just broke my heart when I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. So, but we've got Herbert. So
I forgot to look up the injury report for today. Damn it.
But you know what? He's not going to play Sunday. I mean, they did change it from knee and ankle to just ankle. Because they first said it was knee and ankle. But now it's just an ankle, they're saying. And the last I heard was day to day. So we'll see. But if he's not 100%, don't put him in. Let Herbert do the running. I mean, we know he can do it. I know we're going up to one of the best against Barkley with the Giants. He's back because, last year he came back from the ACL. So he didn't have a great year, but that's what happens after you tear your ACL the prior year. So, but he's back. So it's going to be a running game on both teams because neither teams really have a quarterback that's playing well yet.
I mean, I'm happy we have Justin Fields over Daniel Jones, though. Let's talk about that. What do you feel about the Giants game?
Well, first of all, I was shocked that Daniel Jones went as high as he did in the draft a couple years ago. And from what I've seen, I'm like, what? He fooled everybody. That's all I can say. Now, with their new coach, the guy that coached the Bills offense last year, and I can't think of his last name. You probably know it, but I'm terrible with names. If you watch my show, you know.
The guy that coached the Bills?
Yeah, the offensive coordinator. He's now the head coach of the
Oh,
Giants.
Brian Daboll, yeah.
Thank you, Dable. He, if anybody can turn Daniel Jones around, it's him, but we'll see. I don't know. I from what I'm seeing, I'm not impressed at all, and I'm not even worried about him. Of course, I say that now, I'm sure I'll probably
So far he's been pedestrian. So in the
Yes.
Cowboys game, he was 20 of 37 for 196 yards for a 5.3 average, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 5 times for 27 yards. And
He's
he
been
has
sacked a lot this year, a lot.
57.9 quarterback rating.
and see, so we've got 2. So it's going to be a running game. You can tell that they're both going to run the ball. So the defenses are going to have to step up. I'd like to see our defense do some damage this week. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see Quinn step up. He's the other one. Is he still on the team? I mean, I did call out Roquan Smith last week on my show, and look what happened. So maybe if I call out Quinn, maybe he'll step up.
I thought maybe he was injured. I'm looking at the injury report. So
he's been quiet. He's got 1 sack, and that was in the first game.
But he's always he's the kind of guy that has 18 sacks and then he has 6. Then he has 15. Then he has 7. So the injury report for the Bears is outside linebacker Matthew Adams with a hamstring did not participate on Wednesday.
All right.
Dane Cruikshank, hamstring, did not participate. Tight end Ryan Griffin, Achilles.
He's
LP,
been out a couple weeks. Yeah.
Limited practice. Jalen Johnson, quad, did not participate again. That's kind of concerning.
That I don't want to hear.
Velus Jones, hamstring, limited practice again still. I don't think he's going to be out there this weekend.
No.
David Montgomery, ankle, knee, did not participate.
Yeah.
And then
he's not
Roquan Smith, quad, limited practice.
Well, he was that way last week. So I'm not really worried about Roquan, but I think Jalen Johnson, I call him JJ. I think, when the only bright spot about that Green Bay game was that they did not throw to him in his area. They went to the young guys because JJ is the only one. Him and Eddie Jackson is the only experience back there, but we need JJ back because this guy is.
They don't throw to him. They don't throw his direction.
No, they don't. They don't. So, which is okay because I want to see these guys, Gordon and all those guys. And was it Basker? I always say his name wrong. Number 9. I'd like to see them get some experience. This is what we want because they need
Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, Jerome Brisker. That's it. Number 9.
Jaquan.
Okay.
Jaquan.
I think Dan's going to help me pronounce names this season. But I'd like to see these guys. I want to see them throw to them. Mistakes or not, they're only going to get better. They got to get in games. It's not college. It's the NFL. So we need
right.
But I'd like to see JJ get back in there. So, but I predict, although, the last, Cutler had that 1 year where they sack him like 12 times or something when we were in New York. I forgot what it was. It was just out there, but we don't always play that great there. Although we do lead, I don't have my numbers in front of me, but we do lead how many years we've played. We beat them more. So
yeah, we have the all-time record. But these games are always just so weird. It's like I assimilate them to the Texans games. They're like, we'll win by 3 points or lose by 3 points or less. It's like.
Exactly.
It's going to be one of those fucking weird games again that they terrify me because we should win this game. We should.
We should. We do have, we're alike in some areas, but we're better in running and we're better in holding, scoring. You know the stat. I'm going to let you say what the defense has done in the last 3 games. I bet a lot of people don't know what they've done in the second half.
Well, the defense in the last 3 games has held their opponents to 12 total points.
And Aaron Rodgers was in there. So that people just don't. When I read that, I think you pointed it out to me, and I read it. I was just like, I didn't realize. I mean, I did know they weren't giving a lot of points up the second half, but we are a second half team. There was no doubt about it.
And thank God, it's such a refreshing thing to have a second half team. Fucking
No,
Nagy never knew how to adjust to save his life.
he couldn't. That is for sure. That idiot didn't know the second half. You knew we were like, oh, forget it. This game's over. I mean,
Mhm.
so they do make the adjustments. And the thing about Coach Flus is he's got these guys finishing the game. He's got them in there for 60 minutes. Win or lose, they're in the game. And
Mhm.
that is something we have not seen in years, in my opinion.
Let's go over the New York Giants injury
Yeah.
report.
Yes.
So, cornerback Cordell Flott, his calf, did not participate. Cornerback Nick McLeod, hamstring, did not participate. Wide receiver Wandale Robinson, knee, did not participate. Wide receiver Sterling Shepard, knee, he's out for the season. Wide receiver Kadarius Toney, it's a lot of wide receivers.
Yes. Good.
Hamstring, yeah, did not participate. Linebacker Jaheed Ward, knee, did not participate. Defensive lineman Leonard Williams, he's a big contributor to their team, did not participate.
Wow, they have a lot of injuries.
Quarterback Justin Lane, concussion, limited practice. Quarterback Aaron Robinson,
Wow.
appendix, limited practice. So their injury report is a lot worse than ours. We only have 3 or 4 that did not participate, as opposed to 1, 2, 3,
And
4,
look at how
5,
many
6,
wide
7.
receivers. So what does that tell you? They're going to be running the ball. So we can't have another Green Bay game. We got to stop the run.
Mhm.
Period.
And Saquon Barkley is, last week he had 14 carries for 81 yards for a 5.8 average, 1 touchdown, and a long of 36. If we can contain that guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. He can take off on you, man. You got to be careful. You have to be real careful. Once he's in that open field, he's gone. He is gone.
I feel bad that a couple of years ago the Bears injured him. I think it was his second year. He was a stud in college, and he had a pretty good rookie year. Second year, plays the Bears. They tore his knee. I feel bad for that.
Isn't that where he hurt his ACL?
Yeah,
I thought so. Right, and then last year was subpar because when you come back from an ACL, it takes a full year to come back. But yes, I watched him in Penn State because I'm a big fan of the Big Ten, and so I watched him. He was fabulous, and sometimes
I loved watching him at Big Ten. He was jumping
great.
over everyone. It was awesome to watch.
He was phenomenal. Sometimes I think he's on the wrong team. I think it might be better if he were on a better team.
It's funny how certain players, like when they get drafted to a team, you're like, that's not the fit for you. And then they get injured and their career never takes off. It's like,
yes.
I remember Kajana Carter out of Penn State back in the 90s got drafted by Cincinnati and blew out his knee like in training camp. And I was like, what the fuck? He was like one of the best running backs I've ever seen in college.
Yep.
Did do shit in the pros.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, you hate to see it because they're so talented. Although in the day, there's been sometimes was telling my son that sometimes the coaches nowadays, I think in college, they run these guys too much. They put too much on them. And by the time they get to the NFL, their legs don't got it left.
Worn down. Yeah.
Remember Cedric Benson on the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
That was his problem. He was awesome in college, but he carried the ball for every damn play. And by the time he got to the Bears, he was gassed. He
didn't want to be a Bear. He cried on draft day because he was drafted by the fucking Bears.
He was an asshole. In the Super Bowl game in 2006, he didn't go back in because his knee hurt. His knee hurt. What?
Then he goes to Cincinnati and he kicks our ass, has like 235 yards rushing, and
I know
his comeback game.
Yeah, I remember that game, but I hate talking about him because he has passed away, but he sucked as a Bear. I'm sorry, but that was my example though. Sometimes I think these colleges wear these guys out too much. I really do. But
so wrapping up the show here, what do you think? What's your prediction for this game against the Giants? Like, what's your final score prediction? What do you think's going to happen in the game? Give us your takes to it.
All right. Well, first of all, we haven't been scoring a lot of points, so we know that. So I'm not going to go crazy, but I do believe we're going to win. I say we're going to win 24-13. And I believe that Humphrey, number 24, is going to have a good game. I really do. And it really is going to be riding on him. There's no doubt because they're going to stop the run. They're going to make Justin throw. But you never know with Justin. He could surprise all of us. But I think that the Bears, again, I have my, if they keep those penalties down, they win the time of possession, and they win the turnover battle. Those are my three things. If you can win all three of those, and when I say penalties, 5 or less, got to have 5 or less, you have a chance to win the game, if not win it. And the last couple of weeks, they did not win those in the Green Bay game, but they have in the other 2 games that they won. So, which is huge. That's the one thing about this year's Bears, opposed to Nagy's. They got so many penalties under Nagy. It was just terrible. Coach Flus, he isn't putting up with penalties, and I love it because the Bears aren't good enough to overcome penalties. Not yet.
And they only get the penalties this season so far including the preseason when they play the Packers. So
yeah. Yes. So
hopefully we can average, our 3-4 a game or whatever it is, 3.5 a game until we play the Packers again, and they can turn that up to 4, instead of 3.5 to 4 a game, because that's what they do. They get all the fucking calls. So yeah, I like your keys to that, the triple T's.
Yes, and that is, I say it every week on my show. I'm sure people get tired of hearing it, but it is a fact. And I have a feeling there's going to be at least 2 turnovers in this game. I'm calling it right now.
If there is 2 turnovers in this game by the Bears, we're going to win this game.
Exactly.
I'm going to go, for my prediction, I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to say like 17, 13.
Gonna make my hair get grayer by that score.
That's just the kind of game I think it's going to be. I think it's going to just ramble on like last week. We're like, are we going into fucking overtime, or what's going to happen here?
I did not want to go to overtime because we would not. I felt we wouldn't win the game because I felt the defense was going to be gassed. So thank God for Roquan showing up for that game. I mean,
that was huge. That interception.
Huge interception. I mean, it could be the biggest interception the whole year, depending on what happens the rest of the year, but it shows when you get those turnovers, look what happens. So we both got them winning. Let's hope, right?
We got this game. We've got this game.
Okay, Dan, I heard it from you.
We've got this game. We've got it. And then we got the Vikings coming up next week.
Yep.
And we've got that game too. I'm very prepared for both wins.
Well, I hope so. I'm always prepared for a win. Well, I expect to win every week, and then, it don't happen. So, but I'm always looking for one because I'm an optimist when it comes to the Bears. Everyone always says, oh, you always think they're going to win. Well,
I know. It's like I always have I don't know. Did you see this? You probably haven't seen this, but like I have this has been my motto all season.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Hey, we're 2-1. Let's get to 3-1. That's only 8 wins.
Hey,
more.
If they could get to 11-6 this year, just think
playoffs,
about what that would do for the psyche of these youngsters.
Anything can happen in the playoffs.
Oh, well, anything can happen any Sunday. I always say any team can be beaten on any given Sunday. I don't care. You can look at years ago when New England they won every game, 16 games, and then they didn't win the Super Bowl. Oh, So you know what? It you just never know. So I'd be down with 11, and Super Bowl next year is in Vegas, baby. So I'd like to see the Bears go to the Super Bowl next year, and it'd be right down the street from my house.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you and your wife come, you stay with me, we'll go party.
Oh, sounds good. Well, Lynn, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you and like what do you got going on?
Yes, you can check on my show. I do 2 shows a week, Monday and Fridays. I do the follow-up show, and then I do the preview, the coming game. And you can catch me on my YouTube is Let's Talk Chicago Bears. So check me out, check Dan out, check us both out. Me and Dan want to be famous. So what do you guys think?
Make sure you like and subscribe to her channel because
that's right. I got to learn to say that. Like and subscribe. Yes.
Like and subscribe. Set your notifications.
For him, okay? Because I've been watching his shows. He's got some good shows, people. So check them out. Check us both out. You won't be disappointed.
Absolutely, you're gonna love her. You got a great stuff going on there, Lynn. I appreciate you.
Dan, much appreciated. You know that. I really do appreciate that. You're a good man.
Thank you very much. Well, let's end this on a 1, 2, 3 Bears. Ready?
You
Oh wait,
bet.
I should probably say make sure that you like and subscribe to Bears Country Podcast as well.
Yes.
Also, like and subscribe to the Barroom Network, where
Yes.
they're live every Monday night. But we also have our own stuff going on this channel. So thank you all very much for watching. Lynn,
Yes.
thank you very much for coming on with me today. This has been a lot of
And
fun.
it has.
In the future, let's do more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3
Bears.
Bears.
Ah, man, let's do.